everyone, MinerBiker here. So after a few good months and a large variety of riding, as well as some setup adjustments, it's time to talk about the new 2022 Fezzari Kings Peak. The Kings Peak has been Fezzari's fat bike for a long time now, but for 2022, it got a complete redesign and a lot of updates over the previous model. I did a video a while back reviewing the previous model, including a lot of why I love fat bikes and how incredibly versatile they are. As good as that bike was, and as much as I rode it, there were some things I really would have liked to change about it. Working with world-renowned adventure biker Chris Burkhardt, as well as with feedback from those of us brand ambassadors who ride the Kings Peak a lot, Fezzari absolutely nailed the new design. Better and more modern geometry with a 2.5 degree slacker head angle and steeper seat angle were the biggest improvements, especially for the places and terrain that I ride on my fat bike. Other improvements were a low seat tube for long dropper posts, shorter chain stays, room for 27.5 by 4.5 tires, regular headset cups instead of those annoying fully integrated cups that we should just never see again on any bike, and lots of mounting points for bottle cages and adventure gear. Basically, at first glance, I knew Fezzari had built pretty much the perfect bike for a lot of my wild adventure riding, and I got my hands on one as soon as possible. Before going on, let me note that I did only one ride on the stock rigid carbon fork. This fork is great for most fat bike riders, is very lightweight, and has awesome bottle and gear mounts on the sides. But I knew I wanted a suspension fork to suit the terrain and admittedly unorthodox way I often ride my fat bike. I tried out a Ren fat bike fork for a while, and while it was good, I am now on what I consider to be the best fat bike suspension fork, the Manitou Mastodon. Also note that the RockShox Bluto is not an option since it does not fit 27.5 by 4.5 tires. I am not doing a full bike check with my detailed setup in this video, but I wanted to mention the fork since that has a big effect on what I think of the bike. So from the first moment of the first ride, the 2022 Kings Peak's geometry felt amazing, more modern and aggressive instead of feeling like an old-fashioned XC bike geometry. The steeper seat angle provides a much better and more comfortable position for climbing and long days in the saddle. The slacker head angle, as expected, provides far greater stability and confidence on the descents and makes the bike steer and feel more similar to all the other modern bikes we ride these days. Those two angles were by far the things I wanted to change most on the old model, and what a difference it made. Even with bigger tires and wheels, the bike is still extremely light for a fat bike. I wasn't sure what to expect going from 26 by 4.8 tires on the old bike to 27.5 by 4.5 tires on the new bike, and the huge terrain cake eater tires that come on the new Kings Peak proved to be surprisingly light, very grippy and nice, and more nimble than I would have expected for such big tires. I do have mine set up tubeless, which helps keep the weight down and increases traction by running lower pressures. The fat tires perform well on dirt also and are great in loose skiddery conditions where the large soft contact patch of the fat tire can make all the difference between spinning or sliding out and rolling up or across like there's nothing to it. After several very impressive rides in the snow on the fat tires, the weather and conditions started to dry out and I swapped out the fat wheels for the 29 Plus wheels with 29 by 3.0 tires. Personally, I love the 29 Plus tires for my off-the-beaten-path riding on widely varying terrain. These wheels, combined with the suspension fork in the modern geometry, turn this fat bike into an awesome trail and adventure hardtail that can climb and roll over pretty much anything. After a bunch of rides on everything from Richfield's Pavant trails to steep loose OHV trails to the wild remote Grandview Trail, I can honestly say that this is the best adventure bike I have had yet. The lightweight, spot-on geometry, multiple gear mounts, and ability to handle pretty much any trail conditions and terrain make it so good for getting way out in the wilderness, exploring and bikepacking, as well as being a blast to ride on regular bike trails as well. Having the two wheel sizes like I do provides two bikes in one and greatly increases its range of capabilities. Obviously, it's still either rigid or a short travel hardtail, depending on your setup, and the frame is not designed as an aggressive hardtail, so don't expect it to be that. And even with the 29 Plus wheels, it still has the wider bottom bracket and hubs, which does make it feel and fit a bit different from a bike with a normal Q factor and hub spacing. So in the 2022 Kings Peak, Fezzari created not only a modern and extremely capable fat tire bike for doing normal fat bike stuff, but a bike geared toward and built specifically for adventure, for bike packing, for getting far out there and experiencing this beautiful earth under your own power. The fact that the prototype of this bike was used by Chris Burkard to bike pack across Iceland tells you all you need to know about what this bike was meant to be able to do. Then I expanded its capability even further with the second and different wheel set. Of course, this will never be my only bike, as there are many things it can't do. But for anything from a winter snow ride to skittering around on loose four-wheeler trails to a normal trail ride when I just want something different than my full suspension, to diving deep into the mountains or desert wilderness where I need a bike that can carry and handle pretty much anything, the new Kings Peak will be my bike of choice. As with all of Fezzari's bikes, the frame design and quality and component spec that you get for the price is absolutely incredible. Best bang for your buck in the cycling industry. Thanks everyone for watching. Check out the videos linked in the cards of rides that I've done on this awesome bike so far, and keep an eye out for a bike check video that will be coming soon. Leave a comment down below, and remember to like that hit button. And if you've subscribed already, thank you so much. If not, I invite you to subscribe to the MinerBiker channel. Keep digging up new places to ride and check out Fezzari bicycles.